Gonky, there was a hard landing for a sky bus.
Yeah. Yeah. So this just happened. And this kind of surprised me because, I've landed a Hornet hard enough to break the landing gear and have to get towed out of the LA, and that physically hurt me. But it didn't require me to go to the hospital. So this thing, and I'm surprised the airplane is not damaged. It landed so hard that six people ended up going to the hospital for injuries. Wombat, have you in the world of Airbus, have you ever heard of such a hard landing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's not talk. I have to fly to Phoenix tomorrow. Like, don't put this on me as like. Remember that time Wombat came on? It was like, there's no way to hard land an Airbus, and then the next day he bounced one in Phoenix. Like, no, please don't do that.
30.
The difference of what you're referring to, I think, is number one, you are strapped into a fighter jet when you hit on a fighter jet that has a very forgiving landing gear. And number two, the moment arm of where you hit. So think of that.
All valid. But what I'm getting at is I've had some firm landings in the airline.
Same.
And I just can't. But yeah, but the flight attendants will come up and make fun of me. But there's a massive difference between what we would consider man, that was a pretty hard landing, to people having to get carted out. And I'm just curious if you've ever, I've never heard of a scenario where the airplane was, these guys taxied off, went to the. I
mean, I have heard of people getting injured. Not in any of mine.
Of course not.
Yet, knock on wood. That's it. The FO is flying to Phoenix tomorrow. It's just, if he's watching, he better get a good night's
heading home. How do you get back?
No, he's flying us back as well. But I've had some firm ones initially, and I mean, the kind of running joke is I never dropped the masks, so it couldn't be that bad, because that was the thing. I guess MD-88s and stuff, if you hit hard. Yeah, all the masks would drop, which seems unfortunate.
Would you consider 17 knots gusting up to 25? Now, granted, I don't know if that was direct crosswind or what, but would you consider those windy?
Blustery? No,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't either, man. Not in a big jet like that. But
no. I mean, dude, when we landed in Keflavik coming in, it was 30 plus knots.
Scroll up again. Go to the hold on.
But I mean, you don't know. I mean, this is an article. Who knows how accurate those numbers are?
All the way to that picture.
I don't think that's the airplane.
We don't know. That's not a stock photo.
Well, hold on. No, I'm just curious now, Wombat. How come that doesn't have the raccoon eyes that yours had?
Because it's a different airline.
It's not a Neo.
I thought just the.
No, it is a Neo, but.
The A350 had the raccoon eyes. Explain the raccoon eyes to me.
It's just, I don't know, dude. It's how they come. I don't
order. You built these airplanes. What?
I don't.
Thought you were in charge of Airbus.
Do they have a better landing gear for soft?
That one looks like it's bent by itself. Look at it. It's bent forward.
That's a design bend, mover.
It's a feature.
Respect the Airbus.
I'm the operator in the box, not the guy who designed it. I think we all know that about me. I've never been a systems guy. Okay.
Man in the box.
No, man, that's
yeah.
I think that looks cooler, but I
like that personally.
It looks like it's from Kiss.
Yeah. So therefore it looks cooler.
Yeah.
So I had one I'll never forget. I had when I was pretty early on. It was a fairly firm landing. I have done worse since. And I had a woman exiting, and she made the comment wow, that was a really hard landing, or that's the hardest landing I've ever felt. And I don't know why I said what I said, probably because there's zero filter, but I was like, yeah, we're all just passengers for the last 10 feet. And she walked off, and 3 people behind her were in tears laughing so hard. And I remember the captain being like, yeah, don't say that. I was like, Thought everybody knew. Like,
It's in God's
sorry.
hands the last 10 feet. I just let go.
I mean, so
That's
it is
funny.
what
That's
it
a
is.
joke.
Do we
That's
all-
a joke.
We all have a
Joke.
bad landing in us, conditions.
one?
The one that the
Just
thing
one?
that bothers me is like my favorite day to fly is when it's super bumpy below 5,000, but the winds are right down the runway, because everybody in the back is like, oh my God, this landing's gonna be horrible. And as long as you don't smack it on, they're like, thank you for saving us. The worst day in the world is when it's super smooth all the way in and sunny, and you're just like, bam. You're like,
Yeah.
it's the worst.
It's all me.
So yeah, that was on me. So,
Mover reattacks, sir?
Two things.
Yes, sir.
One,
we're not all just passengers for the last 10 feet.
Well-
So we cover that.
I mean, it's a whole new world, right? Where you can land and send somebody to the hospital. I mean, that kind of sucks. Because when you fly a fighter, it's just that landing sucked, but nobody saw it. It's just me. That's great.
Yeah.
But you go into this world and you get the feedback from the passengers. And I don't know about your airlines, but it's customary to say goodbye to the passengers.
Yeah, of course it is.
And
unless it's a bad landing.
my
Shut the door.
my best/worst landing story of that was when I was still new, and we flew a brand new 737, not a MAX, just an NG, to Dallas, right? And I've probably told this story before. I landed, smoothest landing. I mean, you didn't even know we touched down. Like, it was just
You surprised
beautiful.
yourself.
Yeah. You're just like, oh God, did we land? Are we still flying?
Yeah.
And like the weight on wheels is not even working because it's so great.
So good.
So the captain's like, hey, you want to try your luck going into West Palm, to make it two? And, me being who I am, I'm like, of course.
Roll the dice.
Of course. And we come in and
Rookie.
dude, I mean, it was like, welcome aboard, and he's like,
What are you
all
gonna
right,
miss?
well, go take credit for it, and so I go stand out there, and I'll never forget this woman. Like, she's waddling down the aisle because it's West Palm, right? A lot of snowbirds, and she's got this New
Not
York.
that there's anything wrong
Brooklyn-
with waddling.
Brooklyn accent. She looks at me and she goes, "Oh my God, I thought we were in LaGuardia." Because LaGuardia is typically a hard landing, a firm landing, because it's a short runway. You want to get on the ground at Brick One and land. And this was not. This was West Palm, where it was, infinite amounts of runway and everything. So, lesson learned on that one. Cash out when you can. Don't try to double down on a good landing.
I love it.
But
See, so all I heard from that story is if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, wait, we're not in LaGuardia?
yeah, where do you think we are? Of course we're in LaGuardia. Where did you think?
Layover's in LaGuardia, so
You never get comments from the Victoria's Secret model coming down the aisle. It's always
no.
Anyway.